So today, because it's Mother's Day, I wanted to look at the miraculous power of the feminine. The miraculous power of the feminine. Now, the feminine is not a women. Okay, I mean, the feminine is something that we all have, right? Men and women. Like, could you lift your left hand? Everybody got a left hand? Okay, so left is a lot of times represents on our left side of our body, or our feminine side, the part, when you put your hand out, that's the part that receives. Can you put your hand out? Yeah, so my left hand is like my receptive side, I'm receiving. And then I have a right side, right hand out. My right side is my masculine side, okay? It is a part of me that's a very important part as well. Talk about this on Father's Day, I think. The masculine is very important for us to integrate this part in us too, because this is the part of us that makes choice, gets things done, chooses, is the chooser, and it is the part of us that is moving forward, and it's also the part of us that's empty consciousness, pure consciousness. And the feminine part of us is receptive, it's love, it's compassion, and it's also, in the big picture, the feminine aspect of the universe is form. The masculine aspect of the universe is consciousness. It is the infinite, absolute formlessness of consciousness, and the feminine is form. And the feminine dances only because the masculine is consciousness, and together they merge, and there's this explosion of universal, fantastic magnificence, and it shows up as the earth and everything on it, right? So together, very important, right? See, I think it's important.
I think it's important.
But today we're looking at the idea of the feminine aspect of the divine. And also, where we know that God's Spirit isn't like your father or your mother. There's a beautiful aspect of relating to the feminine aspect of the divine as relating to her. Relating to her as the great mother, as the divine goddess, as the great mother. And so we can experience her. So I'd like to look at some of the qualities that she may bring to us that we can embody, because these particular qualities, as we embody them in our lives, in a very real, relevant way, right, where we can embody these qualities, these will set forth a framework for you for this month to be able to open yourself to be the one that can experience the miraculous.
Yeah.
I want that. Yeah, right, we want that. We want to experience that. So let's see, I have some things I wanted to talk about today. Now, first of all, I made you these. Did everybody get one of these?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yes.
Let me know how you like them as we proceed, and I'm going to make them every week so you can take them home and be able to practice and remind yourself of what we talked about. And then you can have them, and it has our information on the back. If you have it around and you want to give it to someone, you'll have everything you need, okay? So will that be good?
Yeah.
Right, all right, very good. So, Andrew Harvey, how many of you have heard of Andrew Harvey? He wrote the book, The Return to the Mother, okay? Return of the Mother. And so is it all right if I just read a little bit from this for a moment?
Yeah.
Andrew Harvey's amazing, and he wrote this: unless we awaken to the mystery of the sacred feminine, of the feminine as sacred, and allow it to glow into and irradiate and illumine and penetrate every area of our activity, and to create in them all harmony, justice, peace, love, ecstasy, and balance, we will die out and take nature with us. Unless we come to know what the sacred feminine really is, its subtlety and flexibility, but also its extraordinary, ruthless, radical power of dissolving all structures and dogmas, all prisons in which we have sought so passionately to imprison ourselves, we will be taken in by the patriarchal projections of it. The Divine Mother, the fullness of the revolution that she is preparing will be lost for us. So we must understand that comprehending the sacred feminine is a crucial part of surviving the next stage of humanity. There's this marvelous 15th century painting, and in the painting there was a picture of Mary, Mother Mary, laying down on a bed, and from her breast rose this immense tree, and the tree is in full bloom, and Christ is hanging on the tree. And many people are saying that this image suggests that everything that Christ did, everything he was, and that everything that he gave to us was transmitted and came from this great, silent, majestic heart of the mother. That it was the mother's divine love that went through him in order to experience. And what we know is that message and life that Jesus brought. I'm getting churchy today, is that all right?
Yeah.
Was the feminine into a patriarchal culture. Okay? Was the feminine aspect of love and compassion and forgiveness, and that feminine ruthlessness that was willing to destroy the political structure of the church of the day and the dogmas that Jesus came in to the feminine came in and cleaned the temple, right? The feminine came in and said, hey, the prostitute is my friend. The feminine came in and said, don't hit, don't judge. The feminine came in and says, forgive 70 times 7. The feminine comes in as full-on compassion and love. And that was the idea that began to heal the world, right? And so that is that place that must happen in us and for us in our lives as well. Now, from the Hindu tradition, I love the Hindu tradition because it really has the goddesses, okay? I love the goddesses, right? And so Sri Aurobindo talked about 4 of the goddesses that we must embody these qualities of the feminine, of the goddess in order to take them into our life. And so he talked about Mahashwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. And each one represented a different quality. And we don't have time to go into all those qualities, but I'm going to pick my favorite. Do you know what it is? Come on. Of course, it's Lakshmi. See Lakshmi, the golden statue right here? So Lakshmi is the sacred feminine that represents love and beauty and abundance. Can you say that with me? Love and beauty and abundance. Lakshmi is the great goddess that reminds us to love all that is beautiful and to love all the abundance that is everywhere present. And Lakshmi's blessings, when we invoke her, bring us into that greater abundance. Now, as you know, I've been to India many, many times. And what's so beautiful in India is the storekeepers have Lakshmi in their store. And people in their businesses have Lakshmi in their businesses to bless their business, to prosper their business. So you'll be going anywhere you go, and there's Lakshmi sitting on the counter. I went into this, when I was moving, I went into this U-Haul thing, and it was a sweet little Indian man. And he was selling incense and stuff and U-Haul trucks. And I'm like, where's Lakshmi? Right? Like, where's, and he goes, oh yes, Lakshmi, she's over here. Yeah, I got her, right here. Like, okay then, right? So Lakshmi represents love, beauty, and abundance for us today, all right? So love, beauty, and abundance, I'm gonna invite us to look at just those 3 qualities about how is it that we can manifest love, beauty, and abundance and be in that this week, right? Like this week, not in the esoteric realm of, ooh, maybe I'm going to be love, beauty, but no, freaking now. Like when you leave here, right? So we're going to look at 3 things about how is it that we can embody and be love, beauty, and abundance. Now, the thing about manifesting is we can't manifest anything that we are not. Now, a lot of times in manifesting, we go to it through this idea, like, I'm going to attract this to me. And that kind of works. But the higher law about that is, I am going to be the qualities of that which I want to experience in my life. I'm going to be it. So we're going to look at these ideas. So the first thing we want to look at is, well, we're going to look at love, beauty, and abundance, okay? As a collective. And the first thing is see. So we're looking at, this week we're going to activate seeing love, beauty, and abundance. Okay? We're going to activate loving her, loving the feminine, seeing the feminine, loving her, okay? And experiencing her. So I'm going to use the word her, and as I use the word her, I'm going to invite us to look at the idea that her means love, beauty, and abundance. Okay? So when I say her, it means what?
Love, beauty, and abundance.
Right. All right. So first of all, it's like, I see. Now, how many times in a day, like already, even today, have we had the opportunity to see her?
Yes.
Have we had the opportunity to see her, or have we taken the opportunity not to see her and to see something other, like seeing lack or seeing a problem or seeing hatred, right? And what is it that I am seeing? Because at any moment we have the opportunity to see her, to see the feminine at work. Even like when we see the most horrific things happen in the world, and every once in a while, a wonderful, brave reporter will report the miracle underneath the tragedy. And there is always one or more. It's like in the middle of the tragedy, there is something that's happening, something beautiful. She shows up. The mother shows up. There's a great movement that is happening right now, and we may not even know about it, but it's happening right now, today on Mother's Day, and it's been happening on Mother's Day for 10 years. And I'd like to share a little bit so we can see the miracle that's happening right now where she's showing up. Would that be all right?
Yes.
So it's called the Great Silent Grandmother Gathering. How many have heard of it? See, isn't this amazing? Like, there's not too many of us that have heard of this. But this is happening, okay? And how it started was 10 years ago, this woman named Sharon Mady wrote a story for her 5-year-old granddaughter. And the story goes like this. There was a busboy who worked in a cafe, and whose window faced the public park. And he noticed that there were 2 grandmotherly-looking women who had been standing in the park all day. They hadn't been moving at all, and they weren't talking. They were dressed up in their Sunday best, and they were just staring at the town hall. He asked the other patrons in the cafe what they thought the women were up to. They speculated on a variety of things, and then the 5-year-old who was in the cafe spoke up and says, I know what they're doing. One of them is my grandmother. They are standing to save the world. All of the people in the cafe hooted and howled and laughed. Oh my gosh. On his way home, he decided to ask the woman, the busboy did, what they were doing. And sure enough, their answer was, we're saving the world. Over dinner that evening, the busboy told his parents, and he and his father hooted and howled. But his mother was totally silent. After dinner, the mother called her best friends to tell them. And the next morning, the busboy looked out the cafe window, and the 2 women were back along with his mother and her friends, and the women who had been in the cafe the day before. And they were all standing in silence, looking at the town hall. And again, the men hooted and howled and said things like, "You can't save the world by standing in the park." And that is what we have armies for. And everyone knows you have to have banners and slogans to save the world, and you can't do it by standing in the park. The next day, the women were joined by the women who were in the cafe the day before and a number of their friends, and this brought local newspaper reporters to the scene, and he wrote a divisive article about the women, and the day after it appeared, hundreds of other women showed up to stand in the park in silence. And then the mayor told the police chief, "Make those women leave, because they're making the town look foolish." And when the police chief came and told them that they'd have to disperse because they didn't have a permit, one of them says, "Well, we're just individuals standing in our public park. We're not giving speeches, and we're not having a demonstration, but so why do we need a permit?" The police chief thought about that and then agreed and left the park. And at this point, 2,200 women, including the mayor's wife, the police chief's wife, and the one 5-year-old girl were standing in the park to save the world. The news quickly spread, and soon women were standing all over the country. True story. The story ended with women standing in every country across the globe, standing to save the world. So this story continued how it started, and the story continued to inspire some women in Ohio who organized men, children, women to stand for peace on Mother's Day at 1 p.m. in their own time zones for 5 minutes in silence, contemplating peace in the world, and they're part of it. I lost count. A few years ago, there were 3,200 events listed in 74 nations, including 667 organizations, and that was 4 years ago. I looked online, they're still doing it today. In other words, there she is. There she is. There's the feminine. She showed up. And it's represented by women in the story, but it's not about women. It's about the nature of the feminine, which is not necessarily about doing and making it happen. While that's important, it's about allowing the feminine, which is the love and the compassion and the creativity to create creative love and peace in the world. These kind of things are happening, but we must see them. So in our own life, love, beauty, and abundance is prevalent. And we train ourselves to see it. So this week, I know we can see it. When we look at nature, nature is the demonstration of the mother. Right? That's why we call her Mother Nature. She is there. She's alive. She is feeding us. Right? She is there. We have the opportunity to see the abundance that's in our life, not the lack. So I can see it. I can see it. And the second one is loving her. Loving her. In the Bhakti tradition, a whole path to experiencing the nature of God is through the path of love. Through the path of love, of simply loving, of loving, of loving, of loving. I mean, Christ brought that. Like we experience the divine through our heart, through the devotion of loving. And the mother says that there are 3 ways in order to do this. Number 1, the mother says, "Love me. Go mad with love from me. Love me in all that you do. Love me so much." She says, "Love everyone else as a manifestation of me." It's like in everyone here, isn't the mother, the love, beauty, and the abundance and those qualities of the feminine, isn't it's nature present in everyone here? Like, look around, look at the beautiful mother shining through the eyes of everyone. There she is. Oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful in you. Yes. So we love the mother by loving the mother, loving the love, beauty, and abundance everywhere, and by loving it in others, and loving it in nature, loving it in our checkbook even. Loving the mother represents supply in the world. The mother represents money. It represents beauty. It represents that we are nourished by all and supported and provided in all ways that we need. I love the mother. And then finally she says, by loving the mother by loving myself, because I'm not separate from her. The divine feminine is in and through me. I love that about me. I love that about me.
I love that about me.
And then finally, so I do what? I see, and then I love. And then finally, which is simply a result, I experience her. I experience the mother. I experience love, beauty, and abundance. It's not separate from me. I'm not even trying to get it. When I see it and when I love, I am walking and moving and living and having my being in love, beauty, and abundance, and the nature of the feminine that wants to be birthed in me. And we love that, right?
Right.
And it feels good. And when we live from that consciousness, and we'll begin to feel into what that feels like as the feminine, as this love, as this co-creation, as this presence. When we live from that, we're in the vibration of the miraculous.
Yes.
Right? We're in the vibration of the miraculous. So, common sense tells us, and I'll close, common sense tells us that if I want to experience the miraculous, if I want to experience that which shows up as love, is that which shows up as abundance, is that which shows up as love, if I want to experience that, I must be that. And so I do that simply through my intention this week to see her, to see love, beauty, abundance, to love more. I love more.
I love more.
And I experience her. And I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
And so it is.
And so it is.